Right, Octave here, and today I'm with Lucas Rosa once again. What's going on?
What's up, man? How's it going? Of
Good. Thank you for joining the show.
course, I always love coming on Fight Octave.
So you got another short notice fight. This
Yep.
time you're headed up to Canada on
Yeah.
almost pretty much a week, 2 weeks notice. You're facing Sabapathy Dilukshan, and he's coming off a big TKO in Sri Lanka. What do you think of his skill set?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of his skill set, I'm not underestimating anybody. He's one of the best guys in Sri Lanka. And I even saw that he might be a national champion and stuff. So he comes with a very unique style too. Apparently his main style is wushu, which I don't even quite know exactly, and I know a lot about the history of martial arts. I think it's more of like a Chinese martial art. But yeah, it's going to be such an exciting clash. And this is one of the things that I love about martial arts is you have these like all these different styles that have been developing for centuries and centuries, and it's only like within the past 20 years that they've started like sort of clashing together. And the fact that MMA too is one of these sports that's so you know comprehensive and widespreading throughout the world. Like everyone knows what fighting is. Like some countries and nations might not even know what basketball is, or not really know the rules, but like everyone understands fighting. It's like a very basic sort of human thing, like combat. And so to be the best at that is to be the best at, I feel like, at the most like virtuous sport in a way. So yeah.
Looking at what he's done in Sri Lanka so far, do you believe you have the upper hand going into this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I mean, in any fight I go into, I expect to have a 3 round war a little bit. But with me, I feel like I have the very much the capabilities to go in there and prove why I'm not only the best in America, but like making a name for myself across the globe. So, uh, in terms of like an unsigned prospect, so I definitely want to go in there and try to finish the fight. I feel like he's gonna go in there and have a chip on his shoulder, trying to come in and like upset an undefeated fighter. And I'll be going in there to sort of represent not just my country, but sort of like my gym and you know almost sort of the Rosa Nation army that we have. So I'm really excited about this one. And all respect to him for stepping up too. Like it's not an easy thing to go and travel across the globe and like want to fight an undefeated prospect. So um I know for sure he's not going to be scared of me, and he's going to come in there and be swinging. So yeah, I think I definitely have the skill set, though. I mean, this is for me. This is one of the coolest parts about anything. Like in the olden days, you'd have like there'd be old maps that would have like be filled with dragons or like leviathans or sea serpents, or just signs that would say like there'd be monsters here. And that's where I want to go. So this is cool, and that's why I'm like the king of monsters, because I try to go to those spots where the battle is. And the fact that he's coming from such a different way of life and different sort of uh, uh, cultural lineage in terms of martial arts. I think it's going to be such an interesting battle, and that's is what makes MMA great. Is you have almost these different styles of monster styles of like characters that come from different lineages. It's like watching two video game characters fight that are just totally different. And I'm wicked excited about that aspect. I kind of geek out about that aspect. So to be able to go to Canada and fight this guy, like who's from such a different, style, like, like national champion of Sri Lanka, killer in wushu martial arts. Like I think that's so cool. And, the promotion has been awesome about it too. So I'm wicked excited.
And obviously, this is Dilukshan's first time fighting outside of Sri Lanka. And is this your first time fighting outside the United States as a pro?
Yes, yeah, yeah, it is. Yep.
Correct. So this is like, I you both are traveling really far for this fight. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you think that will affect it at all?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it'll affect me so much. Like I mean, I live in South Florida because it has, in my opinion, some of the best training, or at least some of the coaches that help me the most. So anytime I fight in Boston, I'm usually traveling, and that's quite a far distance. That's like usually a 3.5 hour flight. I think Toronto is like right on the border of above New York, pretty much. So it shouldn't be too far of a travel for me, but yeah, for him, he's gonna have to adjust to some of the time zones and stuff. And again, that's like one of the things I think it's like a props to him for stepping up and wanting to come here and do all that. And so he seems really game about it. So yeah, no, I don't know exactly, but the fact that it's always so cool to be able to travel and go to different places. I mean, that was one of the things like I before I was a an MMA fighter, I had a Watson fellowship where I got to travel around the world and learn these different kind of martial arts and sort of to see different MMA scenes, whether it's in like, obviously I'm not traveling to Sri Lanka, but to be able to see what he's going to bring as well as like see this sort of the scene MMA scene in Canada is going to be wicked awesome, and specifically Ontario. It seems like a really cool place. I've heard a lot of really good things about Barry and the official Fight Federation, which is the promotion I'm working under right now. They're awesome. Like honestly, I've been talking to a lot of their promoters and the co-owner. Les, the thing I love about them and like a lot of the other promotions I've worked with is that they still have that enthusiasm and the love of MMA for it. And like those are the kind of promotions I want to work with, like the people like Donnie Burke, Combat FC, and now OFF, Official Fight Federation. So, I mean, I love that when they like I can tell are just as geeked out about the fact that they're bringing like Boston King of Monsters type kid to fight this like totally different style of Sri Lankan fighter, and that's those are the sort of things that I think bring out the best in competitors.
100%. And obviously, this is a new promotion you're fighting for, the official Fight Federation. None of your fans have really seen you fight here before. Where can fans watch this fight?
Yeah, so this is going to be streamed on Millions. It's an app that I'll have more information about. But so just definitely watch my social media stories and everything, and I'll be posting about it relatively soon. But yeah, I've even started talking to the owner of Millions.co, and it's looks like it's going to be a really great you know way to watch it on pay-per-view. And of course, if you want to fly to Toronto, or not Toronto, but Barrie, Ontario specifically, uh you can always get tickets and stuff. So that you want to watch me live and in person, try to you know take the trek and expand my territory to new lands, Rosa Nation territory to new lands. You can always come travel for that. So
Shout out to the people that do that. It's hard
yeah, I
work.
know. For sure. It's cool actually. I actually have a little bit of a fan base in Canada because the person who originally made the King of Monsters logo they're from Canada. So like, I have a few fight fans there. I have one of my sponsors, Pick Dogs, has a lot of their owners in Canada, and then on top of that, even like I even did a little bit of a small brief fight camp in Nova Scotia, doing like learning some Shotokan karate under Ron Fagan. So all that stuff is pretty cool, I think. Yeah.
Speaking of a fight camp, pretty much your whole pro career, you've never had a fight camp. Every fight's been short notice after short notice. Does that like you don't really that doesn't really seem to bother you at all? Just you like that attitude, or do you want to like one day do a fight camp where you span it out a few more weeks than what you usually do?
I mean, the thing I think about is like fighters fight, and in my mind, like it's what I love to do, and it's what I already dedicate like every second of my life to it. So I want to be able to actually go out and perform and show people what I'm improving on. And I think that's one of the biggest things is like it does become hard to skill build and be taking these fights at the same time sometimes. But for me, like I feel like one of my best traits is I'm good at learning. Like I have an open mind about learning, and I pursue knowledge like crazy. So anytime we start working towards something new, I feel like I try to really become obsessive about it and pick it up quick. Like you know I think I do that a lot with the sort of the submission styles I learned from Charles McCarthy. I do that a lot with all the wrestling I learned from Waggy, Coach Matt Waggy, and obviously all the stuff I learned from our brother Charles. And on top of that, I've been one of the things I've been doing a little differently for this camp is I've always been someone who doesn't really think about sports and competition and MMA in a very tangible way, I think about the intangibles, like, the knowledge building and the mental toughness and those things that you can't really like grasp the measurements. And in some ways I almost view myself as like, not to this level, but like Tom Brady, 199th overall, has none of the measurables, but like goes out and performs. And so I've always, believed in that aspect of it. Um, but I do understand that, you have to be an elite athlete in some ways, and the same way that Tom Brady went and made himself into an athlete using his whole TB12 method or whatever. Like, you have to make sure your nutrition and you start and your regiment starts treating your body like the tool that it is for your career. And so one of the things I've been starting to do is sort of look into more of those measurables. I've been working with this guy Sam Russell, and he helps me a lot. Kind of track a lot of those biometrics and stuff, because I don't want to have to lose a fight to realize that I have to pay more attention to those tangibles. And so that's something I've kind of focused on a little bit more. And it's a little hard for me. Like, it forces me into things where it's like, no, you have to take today off because of your measurements and stuff. And I'm someone who's like, no, I live in the gym. So sometimes I don't always follow the advice, but for the most part, it's helping me with a lot of things like my sleep, my recovery, my diet, which I already kind of had a handle on. But I'm seeing a lot of improvements in terms of a lot of those things, and so I'm excited. I feel like I'm going to go into this fight like the best athlete that I've ever been, and I obviously keep expanding my knowledge every fight. So
And obviously, you fought at tons of different weight classes. Can you confirm that this fight is at 145?
yep, it's at 145. So I'm definitely doing my diet right now. So that's like something that I have to pay a lot of attention to. But that's one of the things too that I'm kind of been focusing on more, is making sure that I'm like always ready. We have a saying like "stay ready so you don't have to get ready," and that's something that I try to really live by. I'm obsessed with this stuff. So when the time comes calling, like at some point when you get to those higher promotions, the UFC level even, you're gonna have to uh probably take something on like 6 days notice or something crazy. Like my brother did it on 3 days notice. um I'm sure my coach Matt Waggy, who's actually fighting tonight, he's gonna smash it tonight. He he's definitely had short notice fights as well. So like you try to learn from those people too, and see what they bring to the table. And so I have I know my level of obsession every day, and like the regimens that I have and the habits that I create, like always keep me prepared. So yeah, it's at featherweight 145, and I'm ready to go.
And I do believe this is also Dilukshan's first fight at 145, because I believe he was a bantamweight before, so maybe he's not cutting as much weight as he used to. I don't know.
Yeah,
If that will fight, but
yeah, who knows? I mean, I think like you don't always know sometimes too in like other countries and stuff. Sometimes like they have a little less strict commissions and these sort of things. So sometimes like they might be overweight and not really like even. I mean, I'm not saying anything about like how the commissions work in other countries too much, but like I feel like sometimes it's a little looser. The place we're fighting in Ontario, credit to them, they have a very strict commission. Like I had to get all new, even though I got my blood work done like 6 months ago, I had to get all new blood work, like all new testing for a bunch of different medicals and stuff. And so I know they're gonna be real dialed in with those sorts of things. So who knows? I don't really know quite a lot about the measurables on him, but I know that he's entering the fight. And, he's supposed to be one of the best fighters of that South Asia region. So I'm really excited to take on that challenge.
100%. And like you mentioned before, Matt Waggy is going tonight, and you're going at 9, so it's right next to each other. Does that create an energy in the gym with you guys?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely energy. I mean, it's actually so weird because my first pro fight actually happened the same day as his last pro fight, and it was pretty much like the same time last year. So like in May, I had my pro debut, and we fought on the same card at Leo Code and in Orlando, and we both killed it. First round, finished with submissions. I think he had a TKO, but so yeah, it brings that energy. There's also been times where I fought on the same card as my brother Charles Rosa, and that's been crazy at Foxwoods before. So yeah, it creates energy in the gym where you're like, man. And we have a lot of great fighters that are always fighting. The other thing that's really cool about this fight in Canada is one of my main training partners, Horace Woods. He's gonna be coming along in Canada and also fighting. So he's he's undefeated 1-0 right now at bantamweight, and that'll be a cool experience too. So I think this will be like a really awesome couple weeks for the team. We'll have Waggy winning, and then me and Woods heading to Canada, and hopefully killing it as well. So that'll be an awesome experience. And yeah, it's a lot going on with the gym right now. And not to mention my older brothers, having his first kid, so that'll be cool. I'll be an uncle soon. So by the time I'm fighting, I'll be an uncle for sure. So
Congrats on that.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Well, guys, May 9th, make sure you check out Official Fight Federation. Lucas Rosa will be taking on Dilukshan over here in where's it, Barrie, Canada?
Yep, Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Yep.
Awesome. Well, good luck to you. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys check out the fight. Do you want to give out any shout outs before we head off?
Yeah, just shout out to all my sponsors, my coaches, some of my sponsors, are SoFlo SoCo, Knox, Stag Knives, they're in 12 Oceans, Grill, they're all really helping me for this fight camp, and anybody else who wants to as well. And obviously Chucky's fight, they're the best. But yeah, shout out to all the coaches in American Combat Gym. You guys are the best. So yeah, I'm gonna go kill it.
Awesome. Go get them. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys check out the fight. Take care.